Is it a trend? Does trends necessarily mean that it's going away?
When an employee is engaged, the company benefits from that.
One thing, if they don't know what an engaged employee looks like, I bet you can describe what a disengaged employee looks like. You know that. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Miracle Simeon, and I'm the COO of Vo Professional Services.
I'm Hope Malvo. I'm the CEO of Vo Professional Services. Here at VPS, we create an HR-conscious work environment for employees. So let's get started.
So this video is going to be about gamifications. And if you haven't heard that term before, you're about to learn. So we're going to talk about what is an employee engagement, what is an employee gamification, because it's two separate things, the benefits of engagement, areas where you can actually effectively use gamifications, the elements of it, and then some examples of platforms.
Yeah, so let's talk about what is employee engagement. And I know you've probably heard it before. People like to say that it's an HR coined term, but it's really just about describing the employee's enthusiasm and dedication and really how they feel at work. We know research shows us that when an employee is engaged, the company benefits from that. It's higher productivity, and employees feel really just more a part of the company environment and the company lifestyle.
One thing, if they don't know what an engaged employee looks like, I bet you can describe what a disengaged employee looks like. You know that.
And an engaged employee is the opposite of a disengaged employee that's not doing anything. And honestly, it's the well-being, right, of the employee, and their performance tends to be a lot higher because they're just more in tune and in line, and the company benefits from it. So what is gamification? Now, this is new for us. Gamification, it's been growing. I guess it would be considered a trend right now. I guess we could use that word to describe what gamification is described as, but it's a digital engagement environment. So it's designed to help employees reach goals through games, really. And we'll go through what that looks like, but through gamification, you can do skill building, you can do goals and objectives for the company. You can get really innovative with it, and it allows you to have a new approach on employee performance.
Is it a trend? Does trends necessarily mean that it's going away? Because I feel like tech isn't going away.
Yeah, I think it's a trend until it becomes embedded in the minds of people, and it becomes something you do all the time.
And we're not there yet.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think.
Okay. So let's talk about some benefits of employee gamifications. It increases employee production and productivity. And so basically the difference between an engaged employee and a disengaged employee, because gamification promotes engagement. And so it's the difference between having an employee who just clock in, clock out and get their check versus someone who embodies or shows efforts in their actions, how they think, how they feel, how they act to achieve goals for themselves in the organization. So that's when you kind of see the switch, what an engaged employee, and then gamification is just a way to enhance that. Okay. So you can see it, it's self-motivating. It shows them their potential. Okay, so if we have a game and you have to get to level 10, you're actively moving towards, so you get to see what the goal is, because level 10 is, you successfully completed this and you see the steps. So me as an employee, I get to see how I am succeeding in level 1, level 2, level 3. There's been lots of studies that 45% of employees say that gamifications make them feel happier and more productive in work. And so
Is it because they don't feel like they're really working?
Yes. And also, when I was doing this research, it made me think of my mom, like, playing Candy Crush.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she truly gets joy from it. Like, I have to be like, hello. And it's so funny. We're like, no phones at the table, because she's like, wants to get points and you're moving up in this level. And so if you're dissatisfied, you get enjoyment from it. So I do like that. And you feel less stress. So that is in line with what you're saying. Yeah. So it's enjoyment of it, and the work life is stressful. So here's this tool that you are still working, but you feel less stressed.
And you have the element of fun that's kind of attached to it. I like it.
Yes. So it encourages social interaction with teamwork. So you have this game, we'll talk about different functions later, but it's the sense of groupness, and you can see everybody, what they're doing, and it allows you to connect with somebody. Because I know in the office environment, sometimes you want to talk to people, but you don't know what to talk about.
Know how.
And how many times what'd you do this weekend? I don't know. Like, I don't remember. But we can say like, oh, this level, or we're on this. So it gives that environment where you can talk to people like-minded. It's branding opportunities, and it gets people involved in the culture, and you get to enjoy it. So and to piggyback on that, I do think that healthy competition is good. I know people have their views on it, but if done properly, teams, one department, if your scores are higher in the next month, you're going to get XYZ, or kind of motivated, then those teams are motivated to push through. So I do like that. But it also develops a corporate image. So gamification can set your company aside from competitors. Are your competitors doing it? And even if they are, they're still not you, right? So candidates would possibly be more attracted to work for your company. Again, when companies are fun and vibrant, candidates tend to really want to be a part of that type of organization. And do you blame them? No, it's not this stale way of doing business. Gamification is also seen as like an internal communication tool. Like, what you were just saying, I can talk to my team members about what's going on the leaderboard, or, different, aspects of that game. It begins to be kind of just a part of your corporate communication. So it can be used as a tool. And even for communication, because essentially an email is a text, especially if you're doing it on your phone, but it's just not formal. Right. It lessens that traditional way of doing business and invites a new approach to even communicate. And we haven't done a generation video, and we need to, but the generations that are coming up need that. And I mean, that's what your company is going to look like in the next 10 to 15 years. It's going to be a bunch of Z's running around here. So you want to be able to appeal to them in a traditional email system. I don't think it'll ever go away. We've definitely done research on that. But it's probably not going to be utilized as much in with the younger generation. And then creativity and innovation, that kind of leads me into that. It's creative, it's very innovative, and it's a way to say, hey, we hear you. We know that you don't want the same mundane things of the past. And here's a new tool that you can use. It incorporates different realities too. So let's say you're trying to make a point about a safety matter that has not happened, but it can happen in the world of gamification. So your employees can actually experience possibly even how it feels if we, start talking about AI and all of that. Just depending on how deep you get with gamification, you can really create a reality that the employee can connect with on an emotional level. And it saves you the workers' comp and all of that, right? And of course, the tragedy that can happen. So it could be a really good way of being innovative and protecting your employees at the same time, and giving them a real world experience without them having to experience it, and without you having to pay the bill. Exactly. For insurance. So yeah, we can go into deep about AI and that's another video. Here's a glimpse of the generational video. So So both millennials and Gen Z will make up most of the work demographic in the country really, really soon. So you have to start incorporating the things that we like. And so I'm a millennial, an older millennial, but still a millennial. Why we grew up with technology. We didn't actually grow up with millennials. We had it around high school, but still that's enough to, we know our way around an iPhone. And so I try to think about it, like, what is it about technology that millennials and Gen Zs like gravitate to? Mm-hmm. And at its core, it's visually, it looks good to us. And it's easier function. If we have to tap too many times, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, okay, this could have been 2 steps. So we like efficiency, and that's what gamification could, because you can incorporate technology into all different types of ways. So you need to be mindful of incorporating that into the corporate life. All of that. It's a different way of learning. Like you said, it's moving away from the traditional learning, but the traditional people love it too. They just don't want to admit it.
And you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you love it until you try it.
I know. It's desirable, it's motivating, and it's interactive. Mm-hmm. And so knowing that the way of the world will move to this, it's probably beneficial for your HR to kind of be at the forefront and introduce gamification in different areas. And so here are some areas that you can start to introduce it. Customer service. Mm-hmm. It can improve sales. So your sales time, like programs, you can make that gamification. Onboarding, if you're bringing on a new employee and it is 5-step papers and they get a little ding and a congratulation and a badge for moving through the steps, it's just enjoyable learning and development. That's always a really good one. So make it fun, because sometimes it could be daunting for the employee because they have things that's going on and their work is important, and then they have to set aside time for learning. So make it fun. HR, development, marketing, and then the company culture is all good ways to use gamification.
Yeah. And so the elements of gamification, as it relates to employee engagement, it's immediate feedback. So you can set up a gamification program where feedback is on the forefront. There are leaderboards. Who doesn't want to be a part of a leaderboard?
Exactly.
Always want to be on top. There's goals. There's the badges. I mean, you can get real creative with those badges too. That's the leveling up. So it's going from, an entry level all the way to an expert level. And just seeing how you could achieve that and how far up you can go can make an employee's life so exciting. Onboarding, as Miracle stated, there's that friendly competition, the collaboration that takes place. We didn't hit on that, but that's huge. Yeah. Obviously, if you are part of a team, you want your team to be able to collaborate if you're a leader. And then it's the community that it brings, right? It becomes especially within your organization, it becomes a community. I like to tell people you're at work more than you're at home normally if you're not a hybrid worker. And community is super important. And then you can rack up points, and then you can use those points to incentivize your employees. You can say if you get X amount of points, you're going to get days off. The sky is really the limit. And then even beyond that, as you think about innovative ways to keep and hold on to your employees. So let's talk about gamification platforms, and we're going to put them on the screen so you can see them. So I'll just highlight just a few. You have Agile, which is a CRM. You have SalesScreen, and we have Connect Pro. And our platform is an engagement platform. We know all about engagement. That's pretty much where we hang our hat in and put our stake in. So we will have a link in the video below that you can kind of explore Connect Pro.
So here's final thoughts. I think gamification is so important, and I would love for business owners and companies to truly adopt it. Just like learning any type of new tech, there's growing pains in as far as learning the system, but it's so beneficial, and I think you'll immediately see the benefits of incorporating gamifications into your work environment. So
yeah, and my personal opinion on it too is if you're going through change management, if you're going through a merger or an acquisition, if you're just simply trying to get your team to become one team and build an engaging culture, then I think gamification is definitely the way to go. And I think employee engagement hasn't been on the forefront because gamification wasn't around.
Yeah.
Tools like this just wasn't around. And it was, like Miracle said, hey, I got to go talk to this person and I don't really know what to say. And it becomes really surface. So to introduce this technology, this is where I think technology is on the win. Like it's on the up and up. So I think it's a great idea for any organization.
So again, thank you guys for watching. If you would love to hear more about Connect Pro, go ahead and click on that link. Thanks.